Hello and welcome to our kindergarten through second grade classroom. I wanted to give you a quick walkthrough of the classroom as well as our typical lesson plan format so that if you are new to our classroom or would like a refresher on how things work down in our kindergarten through second grade classroom, you can hopefully find the information you are looking for in this video. So we're going to enter the classroom, and the first thing I'm going to show you is to the right hand side. There is a white bookcase here. On top of the bookcase is the binder that we take our attendance in. So if you are serving, you will be taking attendance as the students are arriving. You will also see a sticker ball that is for when the kids are leaving at the end of the day, and a Bible prize bucket. That is also something that we do at dismissal time. So I'm going to stand back so you can see that there are center choices below here, as well as a list of the dismissal helpers, different jobs that students can do to help at dismissal. As I spin right here next to the door, this is something that is brand new. So if you've been here, this is new to everyone. We have a a hanging file folder system, which lets students take papers home so that if they missed a week and they want the worksheet that we did that week or the craft that they did that week, they can find it here. So for instance, last week was March 26th. And so they can find a paper in which they can write setting a goal for how they would like to help others on it. And as we go week by week, I'll be adding papers and labels onto each of those and switching them out as we move forward. So turning back around and facing forward. This section right here is where we do a lot of our lessons, where we teach our Bible lessons. For instance, this week we're going to be going over our classroom expectations and consequence system. So that is here, as well as a paper that's going to be for the lesson portion of talking about what that should look like, what that should not look like, and the fruits of the Spirit that match up with those. Underneath our classroom expectations and consequences chart, you see this rolling cart. This is going to be where most of your teacher materials are. So on the bottom two shelves, we have lots of copies of ESV Bibles. So if any students have forgotten their Bible, this is where they want to look. On the top shelf, this is just for the teachers. There are copies of this week's lesson plan. There is the prayer request book that we record their requests in every week. There are 2 copies of the Gospel Story Bible. And behind that, there will normally be lots of copies of this week's craft or activity that they're going to do, and then also just some basic teacher materials that you might need, like Sharpies, pencils, Post-its. As I spin you around, you're going to see over to the right of the bulletin board is our memory verse. So when you do your memory verse with the group, this is where you're going to be working from. If you're in K-2, some of the words are already written for them, so they're going to be filling in those missing words. There is a Sharpie on the table already placed there for them to use, and one of those teacher chairs is placed there so that they can step up on it to be able to reach the memory verse. Looking further into the classroom, there is, this is new, a bright orange tape that says checkout zone. It's written 2 ways so they can see it from this direction as well as if they're coming from the opposite direction. This will let them know that when it is time for checkout, they are not to be in the space beyond that orange tape so that they can allow for quick and easy checkouts without it getting too congested in this main area for checkouts. We have 6 student tables. Most of them have 6 chairs at them. So students, when they come in, they're going to choose their center choice and take it to their table. This door here has the Lord's Prayer. So when it is time to pray over our prayer requests, and we end it with the Lord's Prayer, if they don't know it, this is a good spot for them to look at. I recommend doing prayer requests and the Lord's Prayer at tables so they are able to see that Lord's Prayer much more easily. If you move over here, this is also new. This is the material tables. They used to be in a different location, but I've moved them here. There are 6 groups of them. So each group is the same. So they're all labeled with their numbers. The bucket is a 1, and also the crayon tin is a 1 as well. They have markers and pencils, scissors, glue sticks, and liquid glue, as well as crayons. And we try to keep those organized so they know where their materials are. The dry erase board, unless if it's a special activity, is not typically used by anyone other than teachers. As we continue to spin, in this back area, this is our worship area. So our TV and the remote are here to be turned on for some worship music as the kids are working at centers, as well as our worship time together following that center time. So they can sit or stand in this area. We also have a sink and a bathroom behind this door. This is the bathroom that they will use. They will not exit the classroom for any reason unless if they are returning to their parents, because the bathroom is here. By this back door, this yellow bag is for the 3rd through 5th grade teachers when they exit the classroom after the worship time to take the 3rd through 5th graders upstairs. And this is a telephone that we are working on the systems right now, but it can be used to contact people upstairs, the 3rd through 5th grade teachers. Also, it could be used to contact parents. So I'm going to do one more quick long view of the classroom. But this in general is the layout of the kindergarten through 2nd grade classroom. And now I'm going to walk you through a typical lesson plan for kindergarten through 2nd grade. Before I begin going through the lesson plan, these 2 bookcases here have stickers that say teachers only. These are to be accessed only by the teachers. There are cleaning supplies, there are extra materials, there are little organizer bins for future upcoming lessons. These are things that you can have access to when you're teaching in here if you realize you're short on a supply or if there's just something that a kid needs that's different than the rest of the group. But in general, the students should not have any access to this. This is only for teachers. And now we'll go over the lesson. So this is an example of a lesson plan. This is actually the one that we're going to be doing the first weekend of April. So typically when you are serving, you want to arrive around 9:30 and check in the check-in room. You'll receive your volunteer sticker and you'll pray together as a group before returning to the classroom. When you get to the classroom, students should not begin arriving until around 9:50. That is when the check-in room arrives. You as a teacher can make the choice if you want to pass out centers to tables before they arrive, or if you would like to let the students choose their center and take it to a table when they arrive. There are typically 4 adults serving in this room at the beginning when we have all of our kindergarten through 5th graders in here. So 1 adult should be at the door with that white binder taking attendance as students arrive, greeting them, saying hello to their families. 1 adult should be turning on the TV and getting it set onto our Oaks playlist that will have some worship music that they can listen to while they are doing their centers. And the 2 other adults should be walking around the room, visiting with kids, answering any questions that they have, and just visiting with them, spending some time with them. Around 10:10, it is time to clean up the centers. Typically during this time, I have them clean it up and stay seated. When I see their table has cleaned up the floor around them as well as their tabletop, you choose 1 student to return the center back to the bookcase. And then once all the tables are cleaned up, call them by grade level to return to the worship area, beginning with kindergartners and ending with 5th graders so that our younger kids can have a chance to sit more towards the front so that they can see the TV. Once they're all to the carpet, it's time to do a worship song. This is located on the Oaks playlist. So for instance, this week it is Here, Open the Eyes of My Heart, and it will have a song and motions. Remind the students that this is a time to show respect to God and to worship Him. So they can sing, they can dance, they can sing and dance, but they should be giving their attention to God and worshiping Him. When that song is over, it'll be around 10:20, and that is the time that the 3rd through 5th graders exit the classroom, and it is just kindergarten through 2nd grade at that point. So at this point, we do our monthly memory verse time. So this can be done on the carpet, and I showed you that paper earlier with the monthly memory verse. It is broken down on the lesson plan for what week you are on. So for instance, this week, the section is Take My Yoke Upon You and Learn From Me. And so the students will fill in the missing words that are on there. They can work together as a group for that. Typically, we receive a parent note home with the monthly memory verse right before the week 1 service. And so we attach one of those onto the board next to it so the teacher has it to reference. It's in the lesson plan. It should be on that paper next to the one that the students are filling out as well. After you're done going over the memory verse and doing it multiple times, teacher-led, echo read, do it all together. Maybe let 1 student lead the group if someone feels very comfortable with it. Then have the students return to the tables. You as a teacher have the choice that you could do this at the carpet. I recommend doing it at tables because they can see the Lord's Prayer from their table. And it's good to get them moving. When they're this young, they can only sit still well for so long. So to get them up, let them get their wiggles out, maybe do a fun game like have them circle the room as a train or something as they return back to the tables. When they're at the tables, that's where you can collect prayer requests. And here is a purple prayer request book so you can see it is dated with student names and what their prayer requests are. So if, especially this is important if it's an ongoing prayer request, we know that we can check in with them or check in with their family to see how things are going. Once they have given their prayer request, another really good tip while doing that is a lot of times, especially with the younger grades, they will have a lot of the same prayer request, a lot of scrapes, a lot of lost teeth. And so if you notice that is happening, it is good to kind of do it in a batch. Say, if anyone has lost a tooth this week and would like for us to pray for them about that, raise your hand. If anyone has any sort of small boo-boo, a scrape, a bruise, a bump, raise your hand, and collect them in that way so that you can move on to some of the other prayer requests quickly. So following the prayer request, you're going to do the Lord's Prayer together, which is on that wood door, and they can see that from their table. So they're going to pray that together, and then it is time for the Bible lesson. So I would move them back to the carpet for this one. So every week we do some type of Bible lesson. This week is a little different because it is our first Sunday of the month and we study our memory verse. But typically, weeks 2 through 4, we do a story from the Gospel Story Bible, where you will read the story, you will answer some questions that will be on your lesson plan together, and then you can have further discussion. This is just kind of a guide. It comes from Long Story Short or Old Story New, which is a book that goes along with the Gospel Story Bible. But please feel free. If the discussion is going really well and you want to continue it and go deeper with it, then that is wonderful. That is what we're here to do, to help them to get to know God and Jesus better. So that is a great thing to do. On the first Sunday of the month, we don't get out the Gospel Story Bible because we look at our memory verse in greater context. So they're going to locate the section that our memory verse is in, find it in their Bibles, and study it deeper. But all the other weeks, we start with the Gospel Story Bible lesson, and then afterwards, we find where it's located in our ESV Bibles. Now, kindergarten through second graders are going to need a lot of time to be able to locate a section in their Bible. If you notice it is taking a long time, maybe start with looking for the page in the front that will kind of guide them where their book starts, what page number their book starts at, and then help them find the book. If they can't get to the exact chapter or verse, starting with just those first two pieces is important. So if you stop there and you just read it to them, even if they're not all there, that is okay. This is a step-by-step process. We started it at the beginning of the year, and we're going to continue as they get more comfortable with it. So following our Gospel Story Bible lesson and searching for it in the ESV Bible and answering questions, then we do a craft or an activity. Typically, kindergarten through second grade will have a craft, and third through fifth graders will have some type of object lesson or experiment. So you're going to do whatever is listed. There's usually a video, or there is a video every week that will teach you what your group is going to be doing that week. And there is typically an example left in the classroom for you in that bucket that has your lesson plans and your Gospel Story Bible. At the end, dismissal, as students are arriving, as students are leaving, all the students should be sitting in the worship area. There will be videos on our Oaks playlist to show them. They can choose to do a center at their table or finish their craft, or they can watch the video in the worship area, but they should not be anywhere near the door where that orange tape is telling them to not go past that line. There are lots of jobs that students can help with up here. So you can choose one student to be a sticker collector, because each student will have a sticker and their parent will have a sticker as well. Collect those stickers, attach them to the sticker ball. That could be the sticker collector's job. One person can be a runner, and their job is to stay at the door with the adult that is checking kids out. And when they say, the Smith family is here, then that student can run over and get the Smith kids and bring them to the door to be checked out by their family. There can be a table cleaner. Inside this bookcase, there is spray and wipes, and so they can clean tables. They can be a garbage collector. There's typically lots of garbage left on the floor or on tables, so someone can go around and collect that up and make sure it makes it to the garbage can. There can be the master of the Bible prizes. So that green bucket right there is full of Bible prizes for kids who remember to bring their ESV Bible with them today. So the master of the Bible prizes, I would recommend be an older student. They're going to sit in the worship area and make a nice line and let kids come one by one to choose their prize out of the bucket. And then finally, a supply table organizer. So they can go over to that table full of supplies and make sure that they're organized. The section for pencils and markers, the section for scissors, section for glue, and the tin for the crayons. Make sure that all the things are where they belong. So those are the jobs kids can do, or they can watch the videos in the worship area. They can continue to do a center. They can finish up their craft as people are being dismissed. So as they're being dismissed, they should be highlighted on that sheet that they've been picked up by the adult that came to get them that has their sticker. And we should greet them and have a short conversation with their parents as they come to get them. And I believe that is it. If you have any other questions about how the kindergarten through second grade classroom works, feel free to reach out to me anytime. My name is Lindsay. I will, when I send this to you, I will include you'll have my phone number. I'll also give you my email address so that you are welcome to text me or email me or talk to me in person anytime. I'm happy to chat if you have any questions. But I believe that's it. Thank you so much for serving in our kindergarten through second grade classroom.